Good morning, everybody, or depending on where you are, good afternoon, depends. Welcome. So, today I want to do some full stack. So, I haven't done full stack in a long time, so therefore I think it's time for me to refresh it a bit, and I think that there are some new cool options out there for a nice stack. SRE, hello, good evening. Good evening. Okay, so I guess you're not based in Europe then. Because here for me it's 10:32 in the morning. So what I'm thinking, of course, we are going to use Angular. I mean, that's probably set in stone on this channel, right? We are using Angular. What else do we want to use? Hi Tayamba. It's 11:32 by me. I'm really curious about Angular query. Yes, it's pretty cool. I've already used it a couple of times. I think it's an amazing tool, and it lets you. So I always wanted to use, or I was always a fan of NGRX, right? But then I went to a meetup and I was talking to React developers, and they were telling me about this cool thing like TanStack and React query. And it kind of made me rethink how state is in an application. And I thought to myself, is there also an Angular adapter for this? And there actually is. And when I tried to use it, it was really helpful, because you don't have to basically, with Angular query, you rethink about state, because currently you kind of see that you have the client state and the server state as two different states, right? But with Angular query, you kind of see the client state as a cache of the server state. So it's just a cache that you can invalidate and refresh. So let's see. By the way, how was the interview, Tayamba? Hope it was successful. So we would have Angular query. Then I thought about NX. Also, don't use NX at work. I don't use NX at work, unfortunately. So therefore it's also good to refresh that a bit. I did a lot of NX stuff. I even did a lot of NX consulting. I even did a lot of proof of concepts for companies to move to NX. But I've never, like on my project, I unfortunately cannot use NX. So Angular query NX, then we will do NestJs. Why would you say that you can replace NGRX with this TanStack? Interviews next week. So I'm still preparing. Cool. So I wish you all the best. And I'm sure you will do great. You seem like a motivated Angular dev. You will do great. Because let me tell you something here, like for interviews, it also depends on the companies and interviewers. But I have done like a lot of interviews, not as somebody that was basically going to the interview, but as somebody that was interviewing candidates. And there for me, it was really important that basically, so I remember at the time where I was there with my boss, and my boss was doing all the HR questions and all this kind of stuff, and I was doing the technical part. And I always try to come up with interviews that is more like a friendly discussion where we just sit in the room and we just chat about technology, right? So the same as we would go for a coffee and we just chat about it. And yeah, the thing there was that I had a React guy and an Angular guy. And the Angular guy was knowing the Angular more or less, like, okay, he was knowing this stuff. But then I had the React guy who had basically zero clue about Angular. Yeah, not zero, but not much clue. He was only doing React. But then I asked him questions like, how would you do this? And he was like, I don't know how to do this in Angular. That's also what I wrote you there on Twitter. He wasn't saying like, I don't know. He was saying, I don't know how to do this in Angular. But in React, I know we have components, and I imagine that all the new front-end frameworks have components. So probably I would write a component, then I would pass some inputs and do some stuff. And he was explaining his process. And also, for me, it was important that I could feel some passion out of him. So he was willing to do the work, and if he doesn't know something, to learn it, right? And also he was basically doing some free time projects and all this kind of stuff. So in the end I took the React guy because I knew give him 2-3 weeks and he will be better for us than the Angular developer that was just like, yeah, I do Angular, but there's no passion about it. It's just like, so depends on the interviewer, of course, and also diplomas. I don't know how it is in other countries, but I basically ignore them. Like I get a CV, we check, yeah, did you do some basic education and stuff, but then I go more on like, did you contribute or did you work on real world problems, like on real problems in businesses, or did you contribute to open source, or that kind of stuff is for me so much more important than a diploma. I understand that's TanStack. Yeah, so TanStack is basically done by, I think that's one guy that is mainly responsible for the TanStack, and that's, where is he? I think Tanner or something is his name. Tanner Linsley. Yeah, he's doing amazing work. And he did TanStack. And basically the TanStack has a bunch of things that it offers you, like router and all this kind of stuff. Because you know, this is React, right? In React you don't have everything out of the box like you have in Angular. You have to pick your router, you have to go with whatever you want. So React Land. And he also did TanStack query, which is a cool thing. And there's an Angular adapter for it, and we will try to use that here. React query is also called Stan. Yeah. Yeah, I think TanStack is even more than just a query. It's just like they even have tables, forms, and whatever. So I'm thinking about that. Then probably Prisma and PlanetScale. I also never used that. So let's see. So I guess we would start with NX. Get started, npx create NX workspace. Good morning, Risley. How is it going? Where would you like to create your workspace? So how do we call it? Yet another to-do list. I think that's good. We need an integrated monorepo. That's what NX calls it. So because we want to have multiple projects, we want to have Angular in there, but also our Nest. Application, yet another to-do list. How do we call it? Frontend. Frontend? App? Let's go with frontend backend. I don't... ES build, of course, ES build. Do you want to enable server-side rendering? No, it's okay. I don't want to end-to-end test. Yeah, I want faster builds. That sounds good. Oh, 31 unread mails. Not good. Should we take the early access program version? By the way, when is the release of the latest WebStorm? Maybe it's even out. I have to check that. So, code, private yet another to-do list. I'm just opening that up. Here we go. Really? Sorry for the music. I don't know if it's with streaming because I hear the music very well. But if it's annoying, then let me know because then I will turn it down. So now we have yet another to-do list. This is an NX setup, and now what we want to do is basically on NX we want to say Nest. Using Prisma with Nest in an NX workspace, yes, but it was okay on all the previous streams, okay? Yeah, no idea what, wait, quickly. Let me refresh. I don't know if it's better now. Or what we also can try is just this. Hopefully that works. I hope so. I don't know, like OBS sometimes. So basically perfect. Okay, cool. It's better, yeah. So I have two streams in OBS. One is desktop audio and one is display audio. So I don't know what is up there. So good, that's the example repository, but NX add Nest. I think they have some generator. Preset Nest. NX Nest. Yeah, so probably we have to do this. So we first have to, of course, go into the yet another to-do list, install NX Nest. Much better, good. And then we have to say NXG. So that's like the Angular CLI, but the NX CLI. Slash, what was it? NXG Nest double point app, and we call it yet another to-do list backend. What? And he says like this command is not available when running the Angular CLI outside of work because I'm doing ng. Yeah. Mike Marcus, thanks a lot. I don't know, is there a better way than just going backwards instead of clicking 100 times? Could not find the NX module. What? So NX at NX slash Nest app. Oh my god, NXG. Hopefully, I mean the day is long. So, as provided derived apps. Yeah, probably the second one. So we want to have yet another to-do list, but we want to generate it under the apps folder. Yeah, typing is hard, especially with a Moonlander keyboard. So, good. Now we generated a backend. So we have our front end. We have a backend end-to-end test. What is that? But this should be now a yes. So we have our app controller and so on. And now basically what you do with NX is you would say that we want to generate a to-dos controller. So I guess we have Nest, I guess lib, and we would do it under to-dos backend and to-dos. So we would have it under to-dos backend to-dos. Basically the second one, oh, this is cool. They added this, and I think this is pretty cool because the name is important and later for some rules. What should be the project and where should it be generated, derived? So now we have generated. Don't they do the libs folder anymore? So there was always like this libs for sometimes NX was generating everything inside a libs folder. Is this gone? Grouping libraries. Yeah, because I have app integrated the repo folder structure. Was it minus project name, and that would be to-dos minus something like that. So I delete that again because that should be generated under the library. And I think that the Nest generator also has. Please repeat the problem. So the thing is that NX usually generates like this folder structure, apps, and then all the libraries under libs. Yeah, so I just probably did the wrong command, or because I thought NXG, my nest lib, will generate it under the libs folder. That's what I would expect. Am I even nest? Yeah, I would expect that this does it under the libs folder. So if I do this, to-dos backend, that would be the name. What should be the project name and where should it be generated? So the project name is to-dos backend to-dos, and it should be under libs actually. Do I have to do that myself? I'm not sure. I just know that it should be under libs. Okay, so they will deprecate this, but it should be like that. And now we follow the structure, but I don't know why it doesn't generate it out of the box. Yeah, probably I should do dry run. Because I was basically just expecting this to work because I did that in the past, and therefore I just thought it will generate it under the libs folder, and I don't know why it doesn't do it. But anyway, so we have that here now. And now we can go here and say, do we have here like the NX tooling enabled? Because my ID at some point could do, where was it? Wasn't it here? Ah, probably I don't have the. Let me see, because I'm now on the early access program version. Plugins, they have like some NX console. Hello Minyo 111, how is it going? Restart ID, yeah, good. Okay, we are getting there. Come on. So I think now we can say NxGenerate. And now we have all the schematics. So we can say NestJs controller. And now we can say this is our to-dos controller, right? So, and then we can say generate. And now where did he source to-dos? What? Where did he generate that? Refresh. Isn't there a refresh? Because I would expect it that he generates it here. Where? Oh my god. Okay, this has to be done differently, right? But I think the NxGenerate is pretty cool because now we can do controller and we have to say, okay, to-dos, that's the only required, but we can say the module, it's libs to-dos backend to-dos. Oh my god, that name is so confusing. Basically now there's more one time for the workspace itself. Yeah, there are multiple time for the workspaces, but I think if I take an integrated monorepo, it should still work, I think. If I have to create a controller, why can't I check that? Libs to-dos, backend to-dos, source lib. Yeah. Do it here. He still does it under source. Whatever. Like, but I felt, I don't know if I'm doing something wrong, but I felt that this was like working better when I was last time trying it, so that it just does it under the lib. But whatever. So we have our to-dos controller. And now we can say, how is it with Nest? At get to-dos, return a list of foo. So this is the module, and I think when did you use it? It was more than a couple of months ago when I last time used it. I just thought that a couple of months ago I went and I did like NxGenerate Nest library, and he was doing it automatically inside the libs folder. So you have the same feeling. Okay, that's interesting. That's interesting because I don't use it like on a daily basis, right? So therefore I'm a bit surprised that this is now behaving like this. But whatever, like to-dos controller. But that's sometimes also they change a lot, right? Sometimes I think I'm just easier with going with the standard Angular workspace. So here I like to have the import like this. And now inside our package JSON we can have scripts to start backend, and then would be an nxserve -- project let's see. Do we have to add in this module? Probably we have to add that to exports as well. Nah, I don't think so. Yeah, this is a normal programmer's life, but you are right. This is the life. So, to-dos. I don't know if you can see it, but we get some to-dos. Wow, cool. So we have generated a backend, and now we want to connect with a database. So how do we do that? I think, again, I rarely do full stack. So let's see how that goes. I just saw that PlanetScale should be cool. So start with an empty database. So we call it to-dos, organization, whatever. We go to Europe. Free. Auto-scaling storage, no. Now, good. Do it, okay. Yeah. Oh no. Now I have to, oh no. I don't want to add my credit card right now. Like if it's anyway for free, just let me do it. Okay, I don't want to do that. Yeah, cool, yeah, cool. Isn't there also this open source alternative, how is it called? Supabase. Scale to millions. Can I? Netlify, maybe. Let's see if Supabase can help. Supabase also, so you will have to add credit card to Supabase as well. I hope not. Supabase is good. Okay. So how does this work? To-dos, create organization. Cool, let's do PlanetScale, boom. Cockroach DB, like that. Run your data everywhere and everywhere. Looks good. I always like when they have login with GitHub. It feels like I'm on the right place. Sign up to you do not have an account, blah blah blah. Yeah, okay, go ahead. Like, whatever. Personal learning. Oh my god. I don't know. Do you have an application? No. Yes, in development. What database are you using for your application today? None. I want to generate one. Ever. Oh, I saw a credit card. I was again. Yeah, just whatever. Ah. Can I skip this? That's classic developer, right? Skipping it and then later saying like, I don't know how to do this. Click the plus button. Yeah, okay, good. Look at all those steps. The other option is Pocket Base if you want to try it. Pocket Base, okay. Dedicated standard. I don't need this whole cluster. Next payment again. Goodbye. Like, can I just have like... Oh my god. Open source backend for your next... Okay, that sounds good. Okay, and now what do I do? Documentation. Aha, I have to download it and run it myself. You know, my idea was I generate a database somewhere. I get like that string out of there. That was the idea. But I don't want to install that locally and run it. Otherwise, let's go with this. Since we are mainly front-end devs, I guess, I will just do it like this. Wow. So we will just generate like a file todos.service.ts, add injectable from Nest, because I want to focus on other stuff. Provided in root, export class, todos mock backend, whatever. There is no provided in root. We are in NestJs land, but we have some to-dos. All right. And now the interesting thing is, for the to-dos, I would suggest that we generate a shared library. So I would go and say, hopefully this works. Under libs, we say nx generate Angular library, not just a JS library. Elephant SQL. Okay, let's take a look. So how do we call that? Shared? That would be the library name, shared. Okay. Publishable, it doesn't need to be publishable. No, it's good. So generate that. Wow, we have a shared library. Cool, that worked. And now here we are going to do a new file, todos.model.ts. We just call it todos, and each to-do has an ID, a title, a description. We don't need, it's just like a title and done. Basically, those are the things. We export that from, we don't need that shared stuff, that can go away. And then we export that from lib todos. Okay, let's then, I will note the elephant SQL, and then later we will probably connect it. But let's for the moment go with our mock backend. To-do service. And now the type here is to-dos. Nice. So we have to-dos, and that would be an array of, just an empty array, right? And now we say public add to-do. Right, add to-do, more like this, a function here. That would be a to-do, of course. This should be renamed. Can I just... Now, because I'm using emulated Vim, then basically this becomes sometimes a bit harder. So when we add a to-do, do we want to, probably we just want to have a title, which is a string, and then done, which is a boolean. And then we say this to-dos to push, ID, this to-dos, yeah, I mean, why not? Length +1, and we push the title and done. So cool. So we added to do. We can have a method update to do, or like basically delete to do, and then we say this to do's will be equal to this to do's dot filter, yes, where to do dot title is nope. So I would expect that here we get the ID, and then this dot to do's dot filter, exactly, we delete that, and then we call it a toggle to do, because that's basically toggle to do, and here we again get an ID, this to do's dot map. What did AI do? If ID return, yeah, I mean, that sounds good. That sounds good. Good, so we have those functions, and now inside our controller, we can say constructor private to-dos mock backend. I mean, usually you would have a service in between, so basically our to-dos mock backend is actually the service. This dot to-dos mock backend dot get to-dos. Isn't it get to-dos? Toggle to do, add to do's, public get to do's. Then we have a add post, and now I quickly have to consult the Nest docs. Post create. Now that's still get. Does it have to be async? No, because our stuff is not async, but we can say add body and create to do DTO data transfer object, and then we say here this is of type create to do DTO. Then inside our to do's model, we can go ahead and add that interface. So we can say export interface, create DTO. We have title and done there, right? And what you will get back is probably just the to do. Add to do and Actually, we can directly accept the DTO, so we can extend this method. And then, of course, we cannot use the shorthand syntax like done, something like that. And then we return this. We should also const new to do is equal to this basically. Then we push new to do and we return the new to do. Today I'm looking to today's stream topic because I've been trying for more than a week to launch Angular 17 with Nest SSR. Yeah, we will not do SSR, unfortunately. It will be full stack, but not really SSR. But we can maybe have a look. So, delete to do. So that would be actually like this, delete. I think it's just double point ID. And then they take it as param ID. Param ID, which is just a string, and then we say delete to do ID. I mean, we can still return it, right? This makes it here a bit more complicated because we cannot just filter. We can also say const to do, so we find it, and then we say this to do's. We still, yeah, we go like that. For this, AI is great. Undefined. So post, we have a post. We have, the next one we need is a put. And the put is also taking in the ID. Update to do, whoa. I would say like this. We called it toggle to do. ID, we return that. Here we don't return it. Map. Probably we can just do return, find that by the ID. So we'll get here to do or undefined. Right. So good. So we should have a full backend now. Also, let's quickly inspect the NXDAP graph. So inside the package JSON, we can have a new script, which we call graph, and that would be NXDAP graph. And then we go npm run graph, and now show all projects. So we have now the front end, and we have the shared, and that's cool. So at this point, probably we can focus on the front end. One thing that we still have to do, I guess, on the backend, because that will be something that we always have to do, is like on the app to not run into court. To not run into course, we have to say enable course. That's something we just turn off for local development. Then we go to our package.js and we start frontend, nxserve to-do-list frontend. Let's go ahead and start the frontend. And now we are again back in our better land. Cool. So here we are, to-do list frontend, right? And I hope this is Angular 17. Yes, it is. Good. So now let's build up the frontend. So where are we? To-do list frontend. So probably what we need is a new library because everything is done in libs. So we would generate here a new, and it's generate UI. Is it this one? Lib. Angular library creates an Angular library. I think that's it. The name would be to-dos. It's not buildable. Buildable. Nah, it's okay. Do we need buildable? Buildable could improve the build speed, but I don't think that it's needed. Zoom shortcut command plus slash minus. For zoom shortcut for what? So let's generate that. Libs, source libs, directory. Resolve doesn't exist on the. Aha, maybe I have to run that top level. Let me quickly go ahead and commit that stuff already so that I can easily. Feed setup lib. Now we are clean here. Good. So do I have to run that top level? Like, because for the Angular stuff, it seems to work. Like Angular library, I give it the to-dos. It would be to-dos, and it would generate it under. No. Directory. Under libs slash to-dos front end. Libs to-dos front end source lib. Yeah, I guess like this. So generate this. Now we have to-dos front end source lib to-dos. Actually, it should be one up. So let me quickly revert that. Source lib to-dos frontend slash to-dos. I guess we have to do it like this. Because if you would add new features to your front end, you would still want to have like multiple libraries, right? So you still want to have like to-dos and then admin or whatever. So therefore we generate it here. For browser. Okay. So you mean to bump the... Aha, yeah. The problem is, with the shortcuts, I don't know if you followed my stream like already, you probably know that I use this one, right? I use, like, there are actually two, so that's the full keyword. So, and I have custom mappings, so I should probably do some maps for that I can easily type that, because I don't know out of the box how to type that, which is a bit insane. But yeah, so okay, so we have our list front end, which should be very, very tiny, right? Now what we would do for the front end, so we have to-dos front end, to-dos, and then we do probably a new, inside here, we generate a Angular library, because everything is then a library. Angular library creates an Angular library, and that we would call core. And directory where the library is placed. So maybe I have to do that here again, one up. Maybe I have to do that here. I don't know the level on which I have to do this. Angular library core, because they say resolved libs. So he always goes to libs, which is cool. But now then basically I do it top level. Angular library core. But then he would do source. I don't know, this somehow seems to be broken. Libs, or I'm not getting it. So libs to do's front end core, that's where I want to have it. Hi everyone, just tuning in for half an hour. Hello Chaos Monster. So Kevin's plan is to build a to-do list, like a full stack to-do list with NestJs, Angular in the front end, NX, Angular query, and yeah, the backend part would have been the idea, Prisma and PlanetScale, but somehow, yeah, we will get to that, hopefully. But now we are focusing on the front end. So we have the core, and inside core, we can now have like a new file, which we called header.component.ts, which is just a simple component, standalone, true, selector, yet another to-do list, front-end header, template. So we go ahead and we do a header. And here we say to-do list. We give them some styles. And somehow like the NX is cool, but it also adds some extra complexity, right? So if you, because NX is often saying like, yeah, it's easy and it's the same thing as the CLI basically. I don't really agree. For me, maybe because I just know the CLI better, but NX for me adds quite some complexity. A lot of files, navigating around is a bit harder. So, I mean, it's cool. I like NX, but I just don't agree with the statement that it makes things simpler. It adds, from my point of view, it adds quite some complexity. Background would be cool to have like a nice box shadow here. Let's trust AI here on that one. App.module. Now we want to go to the front end. NX welcome component, we get rid of that, but we get our header component, which is not exported, therefore we get that weird import. So we have to go here and say we want to export the header component. We don't need the core stuff. Now you can see how we get a much better import /core. And here we wanted to remove the NX welcome component. And then of course we use yet another to-do list, header, self-closing tag. Webstorm tip with monorepo, use the scopes to reduce. Yeah. Also using git to undo technique is a useful technique. Therefore, you should always commit often and early, right? So this seems to be working. It looks crappy, but font family, I don't know. Like, I like staatliches always. That's wrong, like this, and then styles, body, margin 0. I don't know if we want to go with dark mode or just the dark gray. I'm not sure. I mean, there are these cool color palettes. Not this one. This one I like. Start the generator. Yeah, but I would want to have more like explore some colors, more like something in a gray. Wait. Yeah, let's go with this one maybe. So that would be the background. And then we go with, I don't know, for our header, maybe. Doesn't look, oh, this looks weird. What is this? Oh my god, my color blindness now is not helpful, because this looks like pink or something. Because for me here it looks gray. Oh my goodness. Use CSS var, please. Yeah, I mean, we can do that, but then we have to come up with some sort of theming. Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. You are right. Let's do that. Let's say we have a. Let's even go with like, I don't know what kind of color is this. So these are. We have to give that thing a name. This one. Let's call it theme 1. So we say minus minus background would be this. Probably we even have to say it 1 up, right? No, here it works. So, and then what else do we define? Header, background would be, what's this, the theme? And then text color, whatever. And of course, it doesn't work because we didn't set the theme1 class on our index.html body class equals theme1. And probably we have to reserve, right? Because I think why? Because body class theme1, because there's an end missing. Now here we go. So we have styled that correctly. Header component still display flex. Align item center. Give that some padding, left of 20 pixels, for example, and increase the font size. 20 pixels as well. Font size, you should use RAM. Just, yeah, wow, cool, we have a to-do list. And now inside our app component, here we will use a div, which is basically a container. We go to styles, we define that container, so we give it a max width of, I don't know, 1200 pixels, margin left auto and margin right auto. So that should be the container. We give it a margin top of 50 pixels. And then we go back to our app component inside the HTML, and inside here we use the yet another to-do list to-dos. And there you can see to-dos works. Dot container. So somehow that container problem is that this is way too much. I think 2200 is okay if we don't zoom in like crazy. Yeah, so if we go with 110, basically we can see how it's there in the middle. Everything is way too small. $80, $50, something like that, and then to-dos. How did I call it? Text color. Yeah, good, we have to-dos, right? So now, next what we are going to do is, of course, we add a input. So inside here, we will do a new file. I mean, the input just can be in here. To-dos. Input, whatever. And then, actually, we could also use Tailwind. Today I watched Thomas Tryons. Nice, Thomas is cool. I'm working with Thomas for we work together at the same client project. We are building together AngularExperts.io, so we are really close and we are good friends. So cool that you watched, Thomas. That's nice. Yeah, he did an amazing job there on the signal stuff. Like he prepared for NG Glühwein, right? And that was a conference in Vienna. And then he basically was preparing to go there, And then the day he wants to go there, he writes me, "Oh shit, my flight is delayed. I don't know what to do." Like, he was like, yeah, it was so unlucky for him because he wanted to go there. He was really looking forward to give the speech there. And then just that day, it was snowing like crazy in Switzerland. Every flight was delayed. And then he couldn't really make it on time. And then he made that video with the presentation, which is cool. And also Angular Experts is the site that connected me to Kevin's stream. Okay, cool. I'm curious about that. How did you find the streams? On the videos tab. So I guess you went to angularexperts.io and then probably here on the videos tab. I guess that's how you found that. By the way, there should now be, is this cached? Because there should be an updated version of this with the YouTube logo, and this should point to the YouTube. Oh my god, it's not out. Because I did that, I fixed that. Good that you're saying this. Angular Experts website. Because, oh, my build failed. Why? Rerun jobs. Good that you are saying that. So, good, we have this super ugly input field, height, whatever, 50 pixels, background, transparent. I don't know if I will focus too much on the, oh, that looks ugly. Border, radius, because I want to actually go to Angular query and outline none, border 1 pixel solid white. Instead of white, we should probably use the text color so that we could easily theme that. And width, we go with 100%, I guess. I don't know, like I haven't made like a real padding left, 20 pixels, again, color, okay, also this. I haven't really made a mock-up for this, right? Fifth is probably too big. Ooh, this is too big. Or then we go with a bigger, way too big. You think ChatGPT would be useful here? I mean, we will try it, but I think it's kind of looking okay. Good. So we have to-dos, right? And now the thing is, we want to basically go ahead, and one thing that we need here as well is we need a button. Okay, let's see. I mean, the button is probably still easy. Write me some cool styles for a button. Probably write me some cool CSS styles for a button that works great on a dark background. Please define hover the hover state as well. Cool button. Let's see if the cool button is really cool. Button class, cool button, add to do. Now, Yeah, I mean it's okay. So probably this div would be like class input container. Display flags, justify content center, align items. Yeah, the margin button we can actually have. So we have the display flags and we do a gap of 20 pixels, which makes sense. So we have a small gap there. The button, our cool button, we say a min width of 200 pixels, or I don't know, like something like that. Then probably our input field should be smaller. So that should be around 50. Yeah, I think that looks all right, right? Active state should be defined too, of course. Cool. Now, good. Now we want to add a to-do. And what we want to have, of course, is a to-do service. So now I would still expect this in the lib because it's actually, it has to do with to-dos. By the way, yeah, it's good. Now also we get all the imports from every library that we have. So private HTTP equals to inject HTTP client, right? Now what we need to do is in the main TS, not in the main TS, in the app config, we have to say we want to use the HTTP client, so provide HTTP client, right? Then here again, imports nicely ordered, inject HTTP client, public add to do. For the add to do, we get the description, which is a string. And then we say here, return this.post API to do's. Probably we need backend URL, I think it's localhost 3000. There is also like maybe to do should come from end file, right? So there we should use environments. Add to do, we have the description, but this is not the correct one, so we still need like a done false. So that's what we do. That will return us a to do. So here now, this is the cool thing about the monorepo. We can share the thing directly inside the monorepo, right? The classes. That's observable of to do. So something like that. Add to do. Now inside our to do's.component.ts, we would go here and say add to do, get private to do service, inject that to do service, inject it, add to do this dot to do service dot add to do description. There is the question now. Probably we will do add view child. To do input static false is enough. To do input I think this read element ref is not even needed. And then let's say TypeScript, this is there because it is there. If I could do, yeah. So now, of course, what we need to do is basically we need to start our backend. Start backend. Inside our to-dos controller, what I quickly want to do is I want to-dos controller, we should come here inside the post, console log hosting, yeah. So that should be now up. Did we connect that? No. Network test, add to do. It's not subscribed, right? Such Joshua structure folder. There are feature UI data access feature utils. Don't you like the structure? Don't you use static faults? So I like the structure UI data access. Yes, I like it. Features. Yeah, we have even worked on a project. So I just wanted to keep things simple here, but you are absolutely right. So we even worked on one thing which we haven't released yet. Maybe we should release that as an open source library. I'm not, because we did quite some time and we invested quite some things here. But that's actually when we consult as Angular experts. We consult for the NX plugin, right? And we did our own NX plugin where we basically force the structure. So it's really thought through for like bigger applications and how to architecture the whole thing. And here you can see how we usually go about that. So we usually have like different types with type feature, type UI, type util, probably as you say, type util function and type model. And we structure the library into that. And then you have type pattern data access. So that's if you want to use NGRX with reducers, effects, and so on. And then basically, yeah, this is how an application would look like. So you have like some app, you have the routing, you have feature A, which internally then has services and the components and all this stuff. And you have the shared pattern, for example, with shared data access and all that structured nicely into this predefined structure. And we basically, what this project is, we have a bunch of generators and utilities for this to generate this out of the box. Or was it this one even? No, this is the old one. And this is pretty cool because with this project, what you could do is you could say ng generate a new feature, and then you get basically a list and a drop down and nice tooling around so that you can select, well, I want to generate a library inside foo, and then I want to generate a library inside bar, and it is of type data access and all this. And we also automatically enforce the module boundaries between the libraries, which is pretty cool. Yeah. And then don't use static false. No, I don't use static false because static false is the default. So when you don't set anything here, then static false is this is static false. So they had like first they had it static true as default. Then I think with Angular 9 or something they introduced a flag so that you could say static false, and then they removed it again. So basically they had to do this turnaround because they had the wrong default. That sounds really cool. What stops you from publishing? Good question. Like, here's how it went. We did that already back in the day. We did that, and then we tested it like insanely well, which was stupid because This is the, I think this is the NX plugin, like CodeCoff. I think I even have the CodeCoff files or coveralls. I still think I have that. Yeah, you see, this is, no, this is NX release. This is NX, 92%. I tested all the generators and spent so much time there. And it's insane to test. I don't know if I've ever done that, but testing the generators and is pretty insane. Because what you need to do is like app generator spec. Look at those test files. You have to generate the whole structure and everything. So anyway, I did that. I lost quite some time to test that. Then we were finished with testing, and in the meantime NX changed the internal behaviors, and then we basically had to rewrite the plugin. So we were rewriting the plugin and redoing because we still found some improvements. So we now did it as NX plugin. And then I had it basically in a state where it was ready. Actually, I had it in a state where it was ready with all the executors and all the different packages, but then I struggled with release, right? How do I release that thing? Because it's inside an NX monorepo, and there were, at that time, there was no tooling around releasing open source library from NX. So what I did, I went ahead and built a library that is called NX Release. And NX Release is a library that allows you to basically publish out multiple libraries. And then I went down that rabbit hole, because with NX Release, if you release multiple libraries from an NX workspace, there are multiple cases. So you can either release all with the same version, right? Or you can release them with multiple versions. That's also a possibility. And then I basically figured out two approaches on how to do that fully automated, because I'm a big fan of fully automated releases where you basically just use conventional commits, you push based on the conventional commit message you release, right? And I was doing that. Then I thought it's cool to write about it. So I wrote 2 blog posts about it, made a video, and wrote this library. And then I never went back somehow. Like, I didn't revisit the plugin again, but maybe I should. Maybe I should. Then I just started other things and the plugin never got released, because I think this is pretty cool actually. And we also already used it in multiple places with like, because you can see we really have like some nice out of the box stuff and some nice tooling around. It was really cool to use it, but I kind of also forgot about it in terms of like, I don't know if I could now. I would still need time to read in again, but it was pretty cool because we were also having generators that were generating for you like the whole NGRX stuff and everything. Yeah, it's actually a pretty cool thing. It's sad that we didn't release it. Because also what we were really doing, like you have the NX step graph, and so basically at this moment you can import wherever you want, but actually you have this, I think it's in the TS config. Is it in the TS config? Or ESLint? Yeah, this one. So you have this NX enforce module boundaries. And you can then say that basically here, you can say constraints. And with those constraints, you can say that, for example, I have a front-end library. For example, now you probably want to constrain that your front-end code cannot import from your backend code. So I need to go have a good one. Thanks for joining. Can you share a link? Yeah, I can share a link to this. So that was the NX plugin. Yeah, I will want to finish that, but yeah. So to-do list. Now, where are we? So now what we want to do is basically, I mean, if we would do a subscribe there, then probably we would get to our service. We should not do that, but let's just quickly see that this works. Whatever. I will do response from backend. So if you do this test, 404. Yeah, because he goes to the wrong URL. That makes sense. Because you should go to $backend URL, right? Localhost 3000/todos. Unknown error. I mean, is it even localhost 3000? And yeah, I also do that usually. Actually, that's better, yes. But you cannot access the value. So if you just do it like this, so inside my, where was it? To-dos component. Actually, I wanted to do that. But yeah, you are right. If you don't need to access the value, just passing console log makes more sense. Posting add to do, get to dos. So because with get, we should already, why do we still get foobar? Where is that coming from? To-dos service, to-dos component. Now, to-dos controller. We export that. And also we get some errors on the backend. Maybe DTO is different. Not sure. Yeah, like one thing that you have to do in NestJs land is in NestJs you have to register your providers as services. And please, that input looked wrong. How did we to-do mock backend? The input was not wrong, I was wrong. And then maybe I should also take this error. Yeah, now it was better. Now we are on localhost 3000. Yes. So, and now if we do that, we get back an empty array, which is correct because we don't have any to-dos yet. Now if I do test and I add that, I get back a new to-do with an ID 1. And we would get like our ID, but somehow it didn't add, what was the DTO description, which basically is wrong. So to-dos, I always land up now in the backend stuff when I want to land up in the front-end stuff and vice versa. So basically, can I enforce the body somehow? Maybe like this, because if I would now comment to a description, he should complain. Yeah, good. So this basically works. So we have our to-do, we can add it, we can read it. So we can also say public get to-dos, which just does this, backend URL, we get an observable of to-dos, cool. So now what we can do inside our to-dos component, here we basically add a div, and I think it would make sense to add a new file, a new to-do item.component.ts, add component, standalone true, selector, yet another to-do list to-do item. Wow. What a name. To-do item component, right? Cool. Yeah, they don't have provided in root because I don't know. It's still like in Nest you have to do it like that. Because I don't know if they also have the hierarchy, but generally it's pretty cool that you can use whatever you use in frontend. Remember, like in the days when Angular 9 or 6, in Angular 5 we also didn't have it. We also didn't have provided in root. We always had to provide our providers in the module. I think provided in root was introduced with Angular 6, I think, if I'm not mistaken. So now our good friend ChatGPT, give me styles for a to-do list item, styles and HTML for a to-do list item. The to-do list item should work on dark background. Furthermore, it should display a title and a button to toggle the done state of the to-do. If the to-do is done, please apply some styles to see that it's done. Let's see what it does. Good. I don't know, like, ooh. I'm a big fan of inline template. I don't know how big of a fan I am for inline styles, because this kind of clunks up my component a bit. So, also, change detection. Cool. To-do item component, nice, we have that. I don't know how it looks yet. To-dos, what? This is the wrong to-dos front end. This is the wrong directory. Okay, so now Angular 17, add 4, let's go. To-do of to-dos, track to-do.id, and then do a to-do item with the to-do. And a to-do item, of course, has an input, and that's basically a required So to do item, and here we do to do dot title, toggle button, done. Heading off, see you next time. Heading off, Tayamba, thanks for joining. I use TS REST, incrementally adoptable RPC. Yeah, I used TRPC for that, basically. TRPC is also cool for that. So we have the to-do item. Of course, inside our to-dos component, we still don't have that. To-dos is equal to this dot to-dos service get to-dos, and we want to convert that to signal because, yeah, many benefits with signals, right? So usually here I go like, I cannot do the, yeah. Good. Yeah, I usually go injectors first, then view child, and then other stuff. So now inside our to-dos component template, we should have that. How did we call the selector for the to-do item? It's a crazy thing, right? Yet another to-do list. Yeah. That we selected that we will never forget, yes. To-do service, so we get the to-dos. I mean, this should already fire out the backend request initially, right? It should. So if we go like this and we do the fetch and the XHR. So to-dos component, yeah, we should call that. And that's our to-do. I don't know if that looks cool. Doesn't really look cool. But anyway, I don't want to spend too much time on making this like too shiny, but still what I'm input required to do. So we give in the to-do, we do to-do.title, to-do title, flex grow 1. But what kind of color is the title like? Yeah, the problem is, let's quickly go ahead and restart our backend. The problem is that we don't yet have, yeah, call signal, yes. Problem is that currently our backend doesn't have anything on it, right? So because we did a mistake there. Now we added a to-do, and now if we do that, we can see how we get the new to-dos, like font size, whatever, like, again, wow. Again, let's not lose too much time here on the styling. But the thing is now we do like foo, and we add a to-do and nothing happens. So we still have to refresh and then we get it. And now that's basically where Angular query comes in, right? So let's first also do the delete button. That would also make sense. So we have a, yeah, let's first do that and then we drop in Angular query. I think that makes sense. But this was not so cool like what AI did there. So Angular material icons. I usually use the Angular material icons. So what I would want to, oh, it's bright. So I want to have like a done check, and maybe do check circle and circle. So this is something we have to include inside index.html. So we go, we add that script. And then we do to do item component. We have that one. Is that just a circle as well? Radio button unchecked. Let's go with that. What's the name of this one? Radio button unchecked. Radio button unchecked. Yeah. So now we say add if oh, this new control flow is so good. So yeah, and then on the whole thing we want to be like cursor pointer. No, I don't have material here, otherwise I could have done everything with material. This looks still not like good, but whatever. So and then we have to add output, toggle to do. That's a new event emitter, which basically emits the ID. And then we should also have a delete to do. Background none, border 1 pixel. Let's see. On the to-do item, I guess. Is there even like a background set currently? Yes. Border 1 pixel, solid white, I guess. Looks better. I agree, it looks better. But the whole thing is still like, yeah. I mean, if you check like to-do list, let's see if we find some cool images. I mean, those somehow look a bit better. There was one cool thing. But yeah, whatever. We want to focus on the technology behind, not on the CSS too much. It's like huge SVG icon. I'm not sure what you mean by that. For that you need to spend some more. Did you see? Yeah, I saw it. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, currently I think you still can only access it over BART, I think, right? The Gemini, and they also have like free models from what I saw, like a lower one, like then the Pro one, and then the Ultra one. And the Ultra one is not accessible, but the Ultra one should be pretty good from what I've heard. And probably what we also need here is another icon, which I guess is called the trash icon. I'm just guessing that there is one. Trash. Like, yeah. Isn't there like... It's called delete. Cool. Go with that. So good. So if we click on this one, of course we do like delete to do dot emit and to do dot id. If we call those ones, we say click toggle to do dot emit wait to the .id. Yeah, I guess that's in the future generally for improving GPT is like prompting. Sometimes if you also generate like images, I've seen people who go like crazy detailed with the prompting, like insanely detailed. So now, do we also want to have like click on the whole thing? I would expect maybe not even the toggle here. So probably what I would do is like click on the whole item. Then we toggle it. I think this one is just a visual help. Good. So what we then can do is inside our to-dos component, we have this. Let's reformat that a bit. Let's go like this. Remove toggle to do toggle $event. To-dos component toggle done this dot to-do service dot get to-dos. No, but toggle to-do is an observable of one to-do or undefined this dot put undefined, that would be here like string id string slash $id That's the problem here. Yeah, so we could pass in the done here, but we didn't shape our API like that. Oh my god. Toggle to do, pass in the ID. Maybe we call that delete to do. So, okay, there's quite some typing going on because delete to do, again, it's this.hp.delete, like that. Then inside our, we do toggle to do, and the same for delete to do, delete to do. All right. So now we have basically done that. So now if we would go and we would toggle that, and we come and, was there an error? Yeah, we didn't subscribe to the calls. So for the moment, I mean, this is not what you should do, right? But let's just go and let's do a .subscribe. So we do that, we refresh, we can see that this is toggled. And if we delete that, we can basically do it like this, right? So we have a to-do list, and it allows us to add some to-dos like clean kitchen. And now we can add to-dos, and then when we refresh, we get that. We can click here to toggle a to-do as done, and we can remove it, right? Somehow it removes both still, right? Test. Yeah, because we have some bug in the to-do service. And the problem is inside the backend to-do service. To-dos, that's front end. We call it mock. Yes, so not yet, but we will use ngQuery in a bit. I don't know if it's called ngQuery, the official Angular query from Nginx. So, what is the problem here? We should have a private static ID count, and we start with 0. Not private, just a count. This cannot be static. Let's call it ID count. So now, if we again rerun start our backend, our application is running. So we have an app where you can say clean dishes or clean kitchen. We can add the to do. If you refresh, we have a to do. Then bring out trash would be another to do. We should probably also clean that up, but that's something for later. And then if we click, why are both? To do into add to do, we would also basically say here on add to do. So we reset the value. I think that makes sense. Cool. Now if I go and uncheck that, why are the first two both unchecked? So let's also maybe quickly inside our to-do item, quickly do to-do the title, to-do dot, because they all have one as ID. That makes sense, right? So if I delete one, it will basically delete all of them. That's good, but why is it one dot? Mock backend ID count, so probably because we don't reassign, right? Yeah, and now if we toggle that, cool. Okay, so now we have an app where you can say clean kitchen. We can add that to do, but nothing happens. But once we refresh, we get a 2 because in our to do item, we still have to do dot title. So we get clean kitchen, we can toggle that, right? And we can remove it. But we always have to refresh. And that's now where Angular query comes in. So Angular query originates from the TanStack, as we already saw at the beginning of the stream. So the TanStack is actually something that comes from React. But there's also an Angular adapter for this. Angular query Not query params, Angular query. TanStack Angular query, yeah. So we are going to install ng-need query. So let's go ahead. Let's shut down our front end. And let's say we install ng-need query. Oh, I'm gonna start front end. Now we serve our application on localhost 4200. So here we go. And now how can we use Angular query? So we go to the GitHub repository, and there we can see that basically query client. So we have to inject the query client. Good. I don't know why they do it with this hashtag in front. I don't like that. But you have inject query client. So inside our to-do service, so we will go ahead and do like private query client inject, not like this. Query client, I think that's the one. Nope, the method is called inject query client. I guess this will probably also work. Also this, to be honest, I don't like too much. I like somehow better. I like it better if you use inject and then just like get the token so that it's pure standard. But okay. So now use the inject query function. So inject the query client through inject query client. So we did that. Now use the inject query function using this function similar to the official function. So we have inject query, but where is our query client now? I don't know. Why did we do the first step? So, and that's now more inject query. So here I still think I go with this private syntax, and I don't like the hashtag. I don't know if this is the JavaScript private, but I don't like it. I think this is the JavaScript private. So basically the difference is when you have TypeScript and you just do the private keyword, you only get private during compile time, right? On build time, but you actually at runtime, this is not private. And if you do the hashtag, then you get like real private, even though it's compiled. I personally am not a big fan of it. I cannot really tell you like why somehow. I just don't like it really. But I can see why people, like there's an argument to do it. Like probably people are right. It's just somehow I'm not used to that. So return query. We get to-dos. So now basically we say the query key is to-dos. So that's now the key of the cache. And then what you can say, query function get to-do array. And inside here we have our backend URL, so we still go like $backend URL / to-dos, right? So that's now our query. This is a different result. So this is a, oh my god, result of query observer result to-do error. Yeah, it's private, yeah. It's JS private, yes. That's what I thought. I don't know, do you guys like it like you guys in the chat, do you like it or do you use it? Because I never use it. I don't know. So component usage. So now we have a result property, right? So to-dos.result async, but I want to have a signal. Yes, nice. Component usage signal. Let me also bump that here a bit. So now to get a signal, use the result property. So we can say loading. Basically, that's the cool thing. We have a loading spinner now. So to-do service, this is the result. So inside our to-dos component, we now get those to-dos. And that would be we don't have to convert this to a signal because this is just a query observer result. And now what we can say here is add if to-dos dot loading it's dot result, sorry, it's dot result. We have to do that, otherwise we don't get a signal. Dot result. So now we can do to-dos dot loading is loading. Right, then we can do to-dos dot data. We still need to track, and if it's an error, we can have error. This is pretty neat, I have to say. ng neat. Cool. So now let's go again to our application. Let's add to do. So now if we load that, we can see that we get our to-dos, and that's now Angular query. I think they also have some pretty cool dev tools which can show us how stuff looks like in the query cache. There is somewhere dev tools, utils. No, type utils is fetching dev tools. So we just provide query tools with some options. Provide query dev tools. So I would say we go to the app config and we go to our app config and we say provide query. How was it called? We need to install query dev tools. Minus D. This is a development tool. It's pretty cool because you get like this icon somewhere here at the bottom. Somewhere here, I think you get this TanStack icon or this query icon. I don't know how. It's like a flower. It looks almost like a flower. And then you can basically see the dev tools, like which things are cached and so on. But we will see it now. Provide query dev tools. Are we still running? Nope. Now is okay, it's not a flower, it's like this. But you can see that we now have to-dos. And we can then see basically the options, the query hash, and you can also invalidate the cache, refetch, reset, remove, and do all those things. And somewhere you can also see stale. Can we also see the data? Data here. That's the to-do, right? Title add to do false. You could toggle that. You can do different things here. So that's pretty cool. But now we will basically, whenever we add a to do, so let's add foo, nothing happens. So now we basically at this point have to invalidate the cache. So we think completely different about the state, because with NGRX you think like you have a server state and you have a copy of that state on your client, which is the client state, but you kind of duplicate the state. With Angular query, you think of the client state as a cache. It's just a cache, and you invalidate that cache, and if it's invalidate, you refetch. So let's go ahead and do. So we did inject query component usage. Typing query options, yeah. Infinite query, we also did a stream with that already. Add to do, yes. So now we add a to do, and we have to use inject mutation. private mutation is equal to inject mutation. Now add to do return this dot mutation. Mutation function takes in a title, it posts title and done false. I mean, the done false we could actually also handle on the server side, but yeah. Mutation result. He even didn't What is the problem with mutation function? To do or so they do inject mutation, right? So we have mutation, and now this mutation function, here we go like again dollar backend URL slash API slash to-dos, and now yeah, the variable in the mutation function are the variables that will be passed in the mutation function later. Mutation function, cool, but what is your problem? Observable to do is not assignable to type or promise to do. But that's basically what I copied out from here. And also, where does he have the key? Let's now create your component, which want to use newly created service. So we have that, and on add to do, this would mutate title. How does he know the correct key? Let's just quickly go mutation function. So we have title, observable to do is not assignable to type, variables unknown or promise to do. I'm not sure what is wrong here. This that add to do, inject add to do. Okay. How can I mutation function? The error is, oh, I don't know if it's too small. Variables unknown, observable to do, promise to do. So somehow he expects that this can also return a promise, or he thinks that this can also return a promise. Where does he get the promise from? Observable or promise? Yeah, but where? Like, I think, because what is the difference that he is doing? This HTTP post title, it's exactly this, right? because this returns an observable of to do, but he thinks the type as a function. I don't know how to fix this. Disable option function returns title also. This title is probably no longer needed, right? So title like here we get an object. Maybe what we should do is like, no, here we just get an object that probably then has title. I guess that gets set by the ngx query. Don't use title, but then like if you don't use the title, how would you pass it into the body? Because this mutation function, so I guess when we call add, we get that back, and then this mutation function title, what? Yeah, but title string, this is basically like, this comes from destructuring, right? I cannot because this is already destructuring. So yeah, I don't know how to like, let's see if it even works. Maybe, but let's first see if this even works. So we just TS ignore it for the moment, and then we continue, because on add to do title ref.value, okay, that's good. So now we probably have to do this inside our to-dos component. We get the to-do service and we say we have a add to do. So then we call this now we have a naming clash on add to do. So then let's also do here a on. I think that's a good idea. So let's go to our to-dos component and now toggle that was here on add to do. So on add to do is equal to this dot to do service dot add to do. So we get that, and now inside here what we will do is we would call on this dot add to do dot mutate like that, I guess. Now let's see what happens. We have foo, we have bar, and nothing. And do we get an error? Do we get a network request? Nope. Because what is going to happen here, like what I would expect is bar add to do. And now if you would say like, we have our to-dos cache and we say invalidate, then we have the to-dos here. We have the bar. Let me see again. So we add pass And now we add a to-do, so we have the to-dos. We add a to-do, we don't have pass here. But once we invalidate, we get it, because then it recalls. Mutate async. Then you can use the result getter function on add to do. I think, like, how does he know which cache he's mutating? Invalidate query yet? Not really, because I thought he will invalidate the query. But let's see. So we get to-dos. We add that as a to-dos key. How does he know on the mutation function which key that we are mutating? Yeah, I think we need to have infinite query, but on our mutate, do we need to have the key? That's the part I'm missing, like options, mutate options. What is that? Mutate function, query key, no. I don't see how he wires that. So we have the query and we have an inject mutation. So I think there has to be a query key. Like, okay, that's the TS ignored here. Let's see again. Foobar Bass Quox, I think, is one. Okay. Because it would be cool if they describe it here, because let's go through it again. So we have the query client. Yeah, so you have the query client. Then let's say query. Okay, maybe result use query key is pending error data get to do's. Yeah, they have the query key. Good. Now component usage, here is just a signal. Type in query options. Okay. Further query key return from query option knows about the query function. The query key return from query options, yeah. Mutation. Unlike queries, mutations are typically used to create, or perform server-side effect. The library exports the inject mutation function, which we used. So then we do our post. That's good. Still here we had the TypeScript stuff. The variables in the mutation function are the variables that will be passed to the mutate function later. Yes. Then you use it, you do mutate. TanStack query, when success mutate, you need to query client to invalidate the key. Maybe, yeah. Because they do on add to do mutate. Mutation page. Where is their service? What? Let me see again. Query. Can I get to this to-do service here? Class to-do service. So they use the client. They get query key, query function. then they get some to-dos. This dot that's the spec, even like I'm in the wrong file. Okay, mutation. So to-dos options, invalidate to-dos. Yeah. Add to-do, they do mutation function, title show error, okay. But where is this invalidate to-dos called? Can I search for usages? Nowhere. I don't know if they call in the on-success mutation. And on-success mutation was in the previous mutation page. I quickly have to clone that. Because I cannot navigate around here. So, let's see. Also quickly, I have to quickly go and grab something to eat, something small. Be right back. So, okay, in a callback they call it. Yeah, I mean, I already did this in the past and I could make it work, but it was completely different API. So, which was it? Mutation page component. So they have this add to do, which comes from the to do service, add to do on success. Yes. Oh my god, I haven't seen that. Sorry for that. So you were even, I don't know how I haven't seen that. But yeah, of course, like somewhere, basically, that's what we try to do here. Somewhere you have to say like invalidate the queries. And now that's also why you need the query client. But come on, like if you don't know the Angular or the TanStack, how will you figure this out on your own unless you research the source code? Like the docs here could really be improved, right? Because so maybe we'll write about that. Like a blog post could be cool. So what is Quark's like? Bring out trash. Here we go. And that's cool, right? Because now imagine with other stuff, like this looks like a super simple example, but imagine we would do that without the query. So what we would need to do is somehow, this sucks, so we would need to do this to do service that add to do, then we would need to subscribe it, subscribe, get the to do out, and then somehow push it to the to-dos we have. So we would need to introduce some internal state for to-dos and push that to-do in there. Plus we would need to handle the subscription, so with take until destroy, so that we don't introduce memory leaks. Or if we want to have that as a stream, we need a subject where we push that in and then we merge, and we basically have to clone the state. And with Angular query, we don't have to do that. We have a cache and we just say, well, do that, invalidate the cache, and we are done. Yeah, you can make it completely reactive, yeah. But I basically now want to have this. So I would say we do the same for toggle to do. And probably would then make sense to export some common components. This dot put slash $ID. Then we get the ID here. So something like that. Here I just go with that mutation result, because somehow that's not there. So then we do the same for the deletion, delete. On success, invalidate queries, delete, yeah. And now we can see how cool this whole thing is. Delete to do item component, add to do's component. So we would have add to do, toggle to do, toggle to do, so those we call on. Also this one we call on toggle to do. This dot toggle to do dot mutate, all right? And then inside our to-dos component, add to do on toggle to do, on delete to do. Nice. Is it really true? So if we toggle, nothing happens. We have on toggle to do, on delete to do, and we have to mutate. On toggle to do service. Yeah, you are right. Is it broken? Nice. See? Completely working. And here we even have the dev tools with everything in there. It's pretty cool. I have to say the docs, I'm not so convinced, but we can provide some resources for that or even do a PR, because I think if you describe here like how to do the mutation, then please also say that you basically need to invalidate the key somehow, right? Because that's important. But maybe this is clear for everybody that knows Angular query, React query. So yeah, maybe they don't want to have like specifics here, so that if some stuff changes on the original repository, they don't need to maintain the docs here. So yeah, that's basically it. And that's Angular query, which is pretty cool. Now, the last thing that would be left for us to do is basically see if we can connect that somehow to a database, because that's something we didn't do, and that's something I'm super bad at. How did we call it? Elephant DB or something. What's the name? Elephant SQL. As a service, perfectly configured, yes. Get a managed database. Tiny turtle. Try now free. And please don't make me enter a credit card. No. Sign up. NIVEC. Terms of service, yes. Will your use of the service be covered by the... Yeah, sure. Great team. Test. Okay. Whatever, create team. Create new instance. Name to-dos. Select region. Whatever, review. Now I have that. So now I basically, how can I get like, here, server region. Okay. Yeah, cool. So what we want to do is Prisma. We have Nest CLI, we have Nest setup Prisma. So we need to install Prisma. Prisma minus save dev. I'm just curious where they generate the Prisma schema. Extras. Where is the Prisma schema? Is it under libs? Stores Prisma schema. So they generate a lib for a Prisma schema. Schema.prisma. Provider Prisma client, yeah, okay. But, okay, that's a sample repo NX, but now leverage NX generators, yeah. But how do I do that? So, because they say, can I do here on my to-dos backend? Can I have here like, I would expect it to be here, to use NX generate nest just Prisma, I don't know. So now we get this N file and we get the Prisma folder. So now maybe we can move that to the to-dos backend and just have that here. I don't know if that works. .env would be, I don't know if this has to be top level. Also, should this be like a library? And then what kind of library? What lib? I mean, what does NX do here? So NestJs Prisma. Or was it libs? Prisma schema 1. Project JSON. Project type library. Yeah, they even use some generators. I mean, let's just go with top level and let's see if we can make that work even. So, like, can I do a command? Undo move, yes. So we have the Prisma here. We have the env. Yeah, I mean, this is whatever. Like, usually you should not share that, right? But here we add that. We copy that. Let me even do that here on the, I mean, if you want to go and write to that database, like, sure, feel free. So that's the database that we have. Then Prisma has like this very, very cool Prisma Studio, I think. But set the database connection. So schema Prisma file. Set the database connection. Provider SQLite. SQLite. Is it like provider? Provider should probably be MySQL. Postgres. Database URL provider. Client Prisma client JS. Now open env. Yeah, we did that. So in this section, you'll create two tables, Prisma migrate, add the following models to your Prisma file, to your schema Prisma file. So we define two models. One is, we also said that this, probably here we have to refactor our backend because I like that auto increment ID, right? It's a plain lib with some custom executors, yeah. So I don't want to go with the custom executors yet, so let's just do it like this, and that would be a title, or how was our to-do.model? We had title and we had done, which is a boolean, something like that. With our Prisma models, okay, now we can basically say we want to migrate that. Migrate could not create the shadow database. What is that? Why is there permission denied on create database? Is it something I have to change here? Yeah, what is with that API key? Details, alarms, browser stats. So yeah, now you basically go ahead and generate a database. I mean, let me see. Let's see if I can do it locally. I don't know, like, because we have this one. So how does this work? Databases, API key, maybe, but where would I need to integrate that? Okay, I mean, that's okay, but what if I come here and do like a new server? I call this my to-dos, whatever, Postgres, port 5435. The data directory. Preferences. You see, I have zero clue about this. How do I do the local database? So I have installed Postgres. Okay, it's about Superbase Prisma. You'll see that there. I mean, I've already done it in the past. You see here, I have some databases. But how? PG add, yeah, that could be the thing. Oh my god. Oh my god, yeah, thank you. When was the last time I did something with databases? So now, come on. Oh, it's coming. But yeah, basically you need to have a database and that string, and then oh my god. Come on. I was busy in the background. Sure, no problem. So now here we go, there is something coming. What is my password? Is this? Why is it so slow? Oh my god. I guess that's the reason why I went to frontend. Or am I doing something wrong? Hello? Was this password wrong? I also think there's a problem, like... Why do I have two? Come on. Because Prisma then has the Prisma Studio, right? Once you connect, and I usually use that. Databases. Reset master password. This will remove all the saved passwords. Yeah, okay, good. Master password for PG admin, like... Now, servers, okay. So here we go, and we probably go create, or what do we do here? Do we need to go and say like, create server group? My to-dos. I don't want to have a server group, but whatever. Why can I only create server groups? Oh god. Okay, you see I'm really a no-op, like here. Register server. It's register. My to-dos. Background, comments, either hostname or service. Name. Connect now. Connection. Host name. Is that localhost? Postgres. Password. I mean, we use just password as password. Whatever. We save that. Let's take 4. I don't know. Localhost failed, connection refused if the server running on the host accepting T. Yeah, please look at chat. Sorry. Oh, I was busy. Yeah. Can you check if Postgres service? Aha. Click Postgres SQL. In sidebar, click on Postgres SQL. Sidebar. Sidebar, you mean? Wait, let's do that again. So now, where is the sidebar? Is it this one? Click Postgres SQL. Okay. Servers is sidebar, yeah. And now? Okay, this is the sidebar, yeah? And this, aha, okay. Sorry. Oh my god. Okay, please enter the password for the Postgres to connect to the server. Yeah. Oh wow. Databases. And now... Wow. Yeah, you see, oh my god. Ooh, now. My to-dos. I just... Oh, wow. And now I guess we just have to start that. Or what? Client backend. Now, how do I get that? No, you were saving me here, man, because so now properties, I guess. Database. So now, so I basically have to connect that now, I guess. I don't know if that's even running. I mean, I've done it in the past. Why am I so stupid now? Like, but whatever. So, dashboard. This is now state. Okay, so let's go back to our Postgres and let's quickly do that. So where do I get this connection string from? In this super tool here, and my favorite. But I generated those back in the day, like somehow here top level. And then also, why is it here not green if I do start? Why can I? Okay. Oh god, random password localhost. I don't know what I don't even know username and password. I don't know anything here. Like, oh my god. This is so embarrassing. I have zero clue. Owner Postgres, system database. Your username and password, like I probably did. So username, I think I just did test as password, and username is Postgres. But then also, is it? Yeah, but is it even running this database? Like, I have no idea if it's running or not. Because here I get terminate session. Play, view the active session details. Okay, it seems like username equals database owner. Yeah, I think that's Postgres. Okay, I don't know, folks. I don't know. Like, this is for nothing what I'm doing here, because basically I have to figure that out somehow on my own, I guess. Like, because I mean, yeah, generally you would generate. I've already done it in past streams. You need to generate a database, and basically you get somehow here the password and the string, and then you can run the Prisma migrate, and then you would basically do that. The provided database credential, yeah, I don't know how to get the credentials and stuff. But you would do that, right? And then basically you can follow this guide here. Prisma client, and you do the Prisma service where you basically connect, and then you basically just write and update your service, right? So yeah, you can do Prisma post find many. Oh my god. But yeah, I thought that basically my idea was that I can go to PlanetScale, just copy out that URL, and then I have it ready, but I need to enter the credit card information. So that was my idea, but yeah, whatever. Okay, I will finish here, because this only gets more and more embarrassing. So yeah. Anyway, thanks a lot for the help. Thanks, Adrian, for helping me, or trying to help me. Like, I think you would have easily been able to do this. I'm just too stupid in databases and backend, right? Like, but I've done it in the past, at least that, because you can see here that I still have this to-do DB, and this runs, you see, if I do start, this runs, and then I still have, like, where is it here? Heroes DB. Yeah, I don't know the password, nothing. Like, okay, forget it. I won't go down the path. Heroes DB. What did I do here? How come I was able to do this in the past? Like, heroes, yeah, you see, we had some heroes written here. How can I do a query here? Oh my god, this tool. Query tool. Heroes DB. Okay, this Postgres. Have a nice day, thanks. Yeah, so I'm sorry for that. Like, I will basically do a crash course in how to set up. Oh my god! 10 years in the industry, Google developer expert, and cannot do a database. Oh my fucking god, like, what? But yeah, all good. But you know, I will do a database crash course refresher, because a couple of months ago I was still able to do it. I think I get older and stupider. Whatever. Okay, let's wrap up. Thanks a lot for joining, and hope to see you on some future streams. Probably they won't be about databases, but I would say I stay in the front end stuff. That I'm pretty okay. Okay, thanks everybody for joining and wish you a nice evening, nice afternoon. Okay, bye bye.